Welcome, friend. We are excited to help you discover your new look. My name is Shanidra Matthews, and I started Amara 2 Classy Boutique to help women find classy and chic items for all sizes. It's not like the store experience. If we don't have your size, you can go on our website and purchase your size in your favorite outfit.
Hello, everyone. This is your girl Shanidra with Let's Dig Deep. Yes, indeedy, if you can hear me clearly. Now, you have found me at 9:11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I've had the longest day, but I must obey the Almighty and do what He say. Yahweh. Now, on today, the title is Trust/Faith. Trust/faith. And you're like, it's basically the same thing. As if you don't trust, you don't have no faith. Like, it's hand in hand. If you don't understand God's plan, it goes hand in hand. Now, trust is firm belief in the reliability, truth, and ability or strength of someone or something. Like I told you guys the last time, I have had the utmost trust in my father, my stepfather. I mean, he could tell me, he didn't have a phone. I mean, most of my life, all through high school, pretty much, he never had a phone. Never had a phone. Never. We couldn't convince him to get a phone. But anytime. But he ended up getting one eventually. I think my son was probably about 2 or 3. That's how long it took for him to get a phone because he didn't need one. I mean, everybody trusted if he said he was going to be somewhere at a certain time, he was going to do it. Like, you don't have to call him 50 million times to figure out if he's going to come, if he's going to show up. Because my stepdad always showed up. And he would call you if there's something going on and he feel like he about to be late or something. He's going to call you and let you know to reassure you, I'm still on my way, but I'm stuck in traffic or this just happened. There was a wreck. There was something. He would let you know to reassure you that he's still on the go. He still won't come. And he would never tell me that he's going to do something. Like if he's not sure of it, I'll get back to you. That's what he'll say. I'll get back to you. And I'll be like, okay, are you going to I'll get back to you. Let me check to make sure that I can do it. I'll get back to you. And I know once he get back to me, if he say yes, I know for a fact that I can depend on him. I rely on him and his word because he was always a man of his word. So I had the confidence, the faith, the certainty that he was reliable. So I put my trust in him. Now, I don't put my trust in everybody. You got to show me literally through your actions. And that's what we're going to talk about, faith and action in the word, okay? Because God said, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and you don't do? So do means an action. It's an action where you have to do it. So faith. I had the faith in my stepfather because faith is complete trust. You see how these two go together, trust and faith. Faith is complete trust or confidence. Remember, I told you I had the confidence that my stepfather, if he said he was going to do something, he was going to do it. Like, I didn't have to check in or make sure that he was going to do what he said he was going to do it. If he said it, he going to do it. I don't have to call. I'm not worried. I'm not calling him, not stressing. I'm like, oh, he's going to do it. Well, you ain't going to call. No, if something happened, he going to call me. Literally. So he going to find a way to let me know. If something goes out of schedule, he's gonna let me know. Like he's gonna reassure me I'm on my way. I'm still gonna do it. I can have an argument, anything with him, and he's still gonna do what he said he was gonna do. Reliable. So I had the trust and the confidence, which is faith. It says faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So I had the complete trust and confidence. I was confident, like, oh, I know my stepfather gonna show up. Period. I know for a fact, to be exact. Like, I don't have to worry about nothing. Absolutely nothing. It wasn't even up for discussion. So I was trusting in my stepfather most of my life. I mean, nothing was going to go against what he told me, what his word said. He was always a man of his word. So that's why I look for in my future husband. Like, you have to be a man of, I've seen it been done this all my life. Like, he's been in my life since I was 3. So that's all I know is that he showed me in his actions. He didn't just tell me he was going to do something and then it didn't do it or make up an excuse. He did it in his literal action. So that's the same thing that we have to have, just like we are as a child. We have to have this in God too. And, you know, whether we know or whatever, however it looks, you know, it's getting close to time and we're like, is it going to show up? You know, there's been times that it's gotten close to time and I ain't hear, but, you know, hear nothing or nothing. And I'm like, well, I know he's going to, I still had the trust. I still was like, he's going to show up. And like within that last minute or them last 30 seconds before that meeting hit, he was there. He would show up on time, before time, ahead of time, on time. And that's how God is. I mean, he's beyond my stepfather, but I'm saying that God, you know, he may not show up when we want him to, because we like, I need you here so I can know for sure that you're going to be here. And God, like, really? I created you. I created all these things and you're going to question me? You're going to come at me? Are you serious? But, you know, I'm not one of these fake people that act like, oh, you know, all you got to do is just trust in the Lord. It's just that easy. It's so easy, you know, because people think, and they actually say to me, and I'm sure most of y'all on here that's listening to me now are probably the ones that said it. But will say, well, I don't have that type of faith, Shanita, but I mean, go. You're doing it, la da 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 da. But I'm like, I didn't have this faith either. Did you know that? Did you know I was on the same track that you was on? Did you know God built my faith up to this? And he still didn't even judge me for the fact that, you know, I didn't technically trust him like I should. But now that I have been found, it's like, you know, because people be like, oh, yeah, I trust the Lord and la da da da. But God said faith in action. Faith, put that in some action. I hear you. I hear what you say. I hear that you say that you obey me, but you don't in reality. That's what God is saying out today. So you don't obey me. You do not obey me in your actions. See, I could have been like, look, Lord, I got a lot of weight on my shoulders right now. I'm tired. I need to get in this bed and go to sleep. I just don't want to talk to nobody right now. You know, if I was just dealing in my real feelings right now. But I'm not. I'm still being obedient because I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what God has me to do. And I need to be available. I need to have time and make time to do what God has me to do. I really don't have time to do anything else. So I'm going to give it all. Like, however long I need to be on here, that's what I'm going to do. But it's not too long. You know, I'm going to get through it. You know, we're going to get to it so we can get through it. But we're going to be in Hebrews because, again, we're talking about trust and faith. So in Hebrews, it says faith in action. Hebrews, the 11th chapter. And it says, now faith is the confidence. Now, we just read, if you Google it, it says faith and trust. It says faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. That's Google. That's what Google said. You Google it. If you Google up these words, faith and faith, if you Google up what the definition of faith is, the definition says complete trust, because we're talking about trust and faith. Complete trust. We told you that trust is firm belief in the reliability, in the ability or strength of someone or something. And faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So then we go into Hebrews, the 11th chapter, and it says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Now, I gave y'all the example of my daddy, my stepdaddy, that, though I did not see him, I still had the confidence that he was going to show up. I'm like, okay, it's 4:59. He said he'll be here at 5:00. I'm like, so I know he's going to come. He always come. If he wasn't going to come, he would have called me or told me something. He never has left me hanging. And that's the same thing with God. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So beyond what we see, it's the confidence in what we hope for. Like, I'm hoping he's going to show up. Just like we hoping that God going to show up. I'm like, I'm hoping, that you're going to show up. But I have the confidence because of your actions that you have shown me, Lord, that you're going to show up beyond what I see in front of me. Because it's beyond. We're going beyond the cover. We're digging deep. We're going to have to dig deep up in here. We're going to have to get to the root of it. So, part of what God had me to get to the root of is trust. So he had to build my trust because he knew that was an issue that I had from my past, from my biological father. I didn't really trust nobody. You tell me something, but then you don't show up, So when people did that, I'm like, abandonment came out of that. I just neglect. Stuff like that comes with when you don't trust somebody. When you don't trust them, you whatever. You always say that. Say that. You hear what we say, but you always say that. I believe it when I see it. So when we get into that mindset of I believe it when I see it, because I still say that with human beings. I don't say that with God, but I say that with humans because we can't really. You got to prove to me on me, baby, but God still, as real as he is, the realest of the realest, still helped me to believe that he's going to be who he said he's going to be. He's going to do what he said he's going to do for you. And the reason why, we always say, God, he don't come when you want him to, but he always show up on time. And I heard that as a child, and I'm like, okay, And then, people would joke and say he's on black people time and all this stuff. But, he's on his time, and we can't rush him. The more we try to rush him, the longer it takes. Have y'all not noticed that? It seemed like the more I'm like, come on. You're like, ask me again, and I'm going to make it take longer. And I've done that. As a mother, I have done that. You want to keep bugging me, knowing I'm trying to do other stuff for you? I'm trying to handle all these meals and all this stuff, and you want to keep nagging me, rushing me to hurry up and cook while I'm trying to make sure that I keep the lights on so I can cook. I'm doing all this background work that you don't know about. But you trying to rush me? No. You don't trust me. You don't trust that I'm going to cook for you? No, I know. I just want you to do it now. I don't need. God, like, I ain't on your time, honey. Long as you ain't starving like Marvin, you all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Don't worry about a thing. You ain't paying nothing anyway, you know. And that's how God is with us. He's like, you ain't really technically paying anything. I'm paying for it. I'm supplying all of your needs, all of them, not some of them, not part of them, not a little bit of them. He said, I'm supplying all of your needs. And I'm like, okay, I need to shut up because I'm getting on his nerves like they get on mine. That's what we do all the time. Like we're getting on his nerves. He said, do not provoke his wrath. Okay. So let's continue with the flow. So I can let you guys go and I can go to sleep on this one. So faith in action. Hebrews the 11th chapter. It says, now faith is the confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Do not see what we don't see. It's beyond what we see. Literally. That's why people are like, oh, I'm on this faith journey and all that. You have not been on the faith journey until you've been on the faith journey, until you don't know when the cash is gonna flow. Until you are, expecting what you don't see. I mean, you're expecting, you see your money, you see your account is parched or whatever, and you just expect your bills to be paid. Because you know that the Almighty is gonna make sure that they're paid. But that's real faith. Beyond what you see. Beyond what you see. I told y'all I did not move based off of what I had. If I moved based off what that building wouldn't have been there, period. And I wasn't even looking for a 13-room building. I was looking for one little room where I could do all things in that one room. I'm very creative, I can get creative in small rooms. He knows what I can do with little things. So he provided more in store. But never ever would I have, looking at my account and looking at what needed to be paid, which was my, roof over my head and utilities and all that stuff. After I paid it, it was parched. So I was like, okay, Lord. I mean, he's saying he's gonna give me 2 weeks. I ain't got paid nothing. Okay. 2 weeks go by. Right the day before, he told me that first, see, this is what God does. He'll tell you, yes, go ahead and do it. So I went ahead and signed the lease. Still nothing. I still had nothing. And I was like, what in the world? Like, okay, I said, yes, Lord. And he waited. He specifically waited until I signed my name. Now, mind you, and there wasn't nothing there for me to really think that I needed to sign this paper besides God telling me, go ahead. But once he said, go ahead, and I did it beyond what I'm looking in my account. I couldn't look at the amount in my account. I had to go beyond that, look beyond and see what he has me to see. So that's beyond reality. That's why you have to know the voice of God, and you really have to get into his word and really have that relationship, because the enemy tries to sound and appear the same way. But anyways, when you know the Almighty, he ain't gonna tell you what you want to hear anyway. So because I wouldn't want to hear another bill added to me on top of what I'm already doing. That. But he said, lean not into my own understanding, but acknowledge him in all of my ways. So that's what I had to do. And faith in action. Like he waits until you put it in action. Now, when I actually signed a lease with my account parched, It wasn't all this amount in the account when I signed it. It was still parched. I checked it before I signed it. Trust and believe me, you. But the moment I did it, I only had enough to pay just for that. That's all I had was enough to pay that. I already made sure I paid for my home, made sure we had a roof over our head. But after that, it was just enough to pay for the building. And I paid it. And it was parched after that. Like, I was like, okay. I mean, I got $50 left. I have some gas, we got some food in the house. I'm good. I ain't gonna worry about it. It's beyond my sight. Lean not to my own understanding. I have to focus on the Lord. Like, now I'm acknowledging him in all of my ways. And I'm like, okay, I did it. Now I'm looking for him. Like, what's my next step? What else do I need to do? Because I'm really dependent on you at this point. Like, I have nothing left that I can possibly do. So now, Lord, I am leaning on you. And that's where he wants to have you. Leaning on him and not them. So once I did it, I'm checking every time I put gas in my car, everything. You know how we do. I got to be real with y'all. I don't want to be fake and act like, oh, yeah, I just had money and I was just spending money. And that's not me. I was checking my account every time I spent something, every time I put gas in there, because I knew I only had $50 left. So I was like, okay, I put $30 in my little gas. Get a little few items, get them some oatmeal, get them, something that's going to keep them going, along with the real food that I will have to cook. So, we good. We're good. I got a little few snacks that the kids can eat for my after school program at the building. Okay. Boom. So I told you I'm checking the account. I trust in the Lord, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not spending over the little amount that I had left. I checked the account again. I don't know. Was it the same day or the next day? The next day, because I guess he wanted to see if I had to pay that night. It was that night. And my kids, because they know, honey, I was nickel and diming every little penny. Like, we can't, no, we're not doing that. We're going straight home. All of this. I ain't got time to be, I ain't got no extra money, honey. And I woke up in the middle of the night. Now I remember. I remember waking up, and it was like the Lord was just tapping me, like, check your account now. So I check it, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. Like, this ain't 5,000. This ain't, this ain't no little change here. This is beyond, abundantly. So I was just like, hold up. But I was just denied for this grant. So, let me check my emails to make sure, because I know what I saw. Like, I ain't crazy or nothing. So I still had that denied email, because your emails don't disappear. But then above it. Now, I only asked for $10,000 because I didn't want to ask for more than I could pay, what I thought I could pay back, because, I was basing out for what I was already, So I wasn't trying to take no more than what I could, because I know how to do a lot with a little. But I got more than 10,000. Now, I was denied for 10,000, but God had gave me more. I was like, wow, I'm thinking that's a lot. I never got that much of a lump sum at one time. Now I've received more than that, throughout the year, but not at once. And so I'm thankful for that, but then it started getting parched again. I'm like, okay, Lord. Then he almost doubles that. Just by that one lick of faith. just the faith of a mustard seed, just by me just signing the paper with the parched account. Let's talk about that, because people want to, oh yeah, because everybody want to boost you up and make you look like, and I know what God makes it look like. He makes it look beautiful, but you don't know, honey. You don't even know the half of it. Y'all don't know. People be like, you're just so humble and quiet, because we just got out the storm. Like, the storm is over and we see the rainbow, but we're just like, ooh, I'm trying to breathe now. Like, you don't know what just happened. Like, like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Like, let me process all of this that I just got out of. I just got out of a battle right now. Like, let me, I was just wounded, all of this stuff. And, then we get the breakthrough right after, like right when you about to give up. It's like, oh, I can't give up. I can't give up. I mean, mothers, fathers, sister, brothers, cousins. I mean, especially when you have kids, a parent. We ain't got no option, especially when the kids are with you. I don't have the option to say, well, I'm too tired. I just, go back to my mom's house. Or I'm mom, okay? I'm mom. So what? So that's what faith in action is in reality. And I had to share that with you guys so y'all don't think like, oh, well, she just, that's why she moving, because she got all that money. Clearly, no. I didn't even know why he wanted me to trade in I had a 2019 Kia Rio, and I was cruising in it, gas saver, wonderful. Didn't have no problem. That's the first car that I've ever had that didn't have any problems. No problems. And he was telling me, but he granted me with something better. So back to faith in action. So by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. So all of those who don't understand and that want to, say, oh, the universe is giving me this, the universe is giving me that. Y'all can't even acknowledge God, the creator of all things. Did you not know, like he said, by faith, we understand that the universe was formed by God's command. Did you understand that? Do you understand it? The universe was formed. The universe wasn't even here. The universe was formed at God's, only one God, Almighty God, command, his command. That's all he had to command it, and it happened. I'm sure he commanded my money, and it happened. So that what is seen was not made out of what was visible, because the universe wasn't even visible. So what we see in front of us, it wasn't even visible. He spoke it into existence. God did. God did. He commanded it. All he got to do is say one command and it has to happen. Can't nothing tap into nothing. It's not up for discussion. Who go against my father? Like, he bigger than all of y'all. Like, y'all, that's why David was so confident. But anyway, by faith, Abel brought God a better offering. He didn't know what God was going to do. He didn't know what was going to happen. He just gave God his best. That's all we have to do. People want to have an excuse and say, oh, I'm not perfect. Oh, this, oh, that. Okay, that's like our kids saying, oh, I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm telling you to act right. Act like you got some sense. That's all we telling our kids, but I'm not perfect. I know you're not perfect. Ain't nobody asking you to be perfect. Just act like you got some sense. That's it. It's very simple. You know right from wrong. So we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna say, oh, he didn't tell me that you know right from wrong. Period. So that's what God is saying. I expect you to do accordingly. You know right from wrong. I don't want to hear nothing else. We're going up there without no excuses. He already showed us the way through his action, Yahweh. better of offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous. When God spoke well of his offering, when God spoke well of his offerings, and by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. But we have read it. We still reading it 50,000 years later. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. Faith pleases God. If you don't have faith, you cannot please God. That's biblical too. That is biblical too. And it says, that's the next one. Wow. Hebrews the 11th chapter verse 6, it says, and without faith it is impossible. Impossible. That means it's not possible to please God. It says, and without faith it is impossible to please God. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he first exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him, who acknowledges him in all their ways. By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, remember about the flood, it wasn't a flood yet. In holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. Same thing with me. I don't know. I know where I'm going, but By faith, he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. Because you can't build nothing unless you have God as your foundation, or it's going to be sinking in the sand. And you're going to look like you don't understand, but you didn't understand his plan, God's plan. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children. Remember Sarah, as old as she, wrinkled up as she was still able to have a child. By God, because normally you can't necessarily have a child, especially after you no longer, but anyway. All these people were living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. So, this goes all the way down, talk about Abraham and everybody else moving by faith. Now, you want to go by your ancestors or whatever? This is who you go by. Abraham, the ones that follow God. How about that? How about you decide to follow the ones that follow God? Because they were the ones that's blessed. Why would you want to follow ancestors that did the witchcraft and got us in this curse and all of this? Wow, that don't make any sense. We are too old for this weird stuff. We want to believe in crystals and all this weird stuff. And I don't have to keep doing nothing. All I have to do is pray one time and it's gone. Ask for discernment. Everybody that's not around, that don't need to be around you, will be gone. Yes, take that mask off real quick. They don't fit. Period. So, in order for us to continue to do what God has us to do, we must have faith. And all He asks is faith the size of a mustard seed. That's it. That's it. He don't ask for nothing else. This size of a mustard seed is nothing. Like that's all I need. I don't even need you to have this big faith. I know that stuff is gonna look crazy. It's gonna look like the opposite. Just like he was delivering when he was delivering them from Egypt, it got harder. And they was looking like, I thought you said, going off, like you should just left me where I was at, 'cause what is this? I mean, this is worse than what I but then on the other side, see, God was delivering them. That's why I tell y'all when you're being delivered, it's not this exciting. I don't know why people, oh yeah, I was delivered. It's not that type of exciting feeling when you're being delivered. That's why Last Dig Deep came about because God was getting to the root of things. He was pulling stuff out. He was digging deep into me. He like, whoa, I had to really feel and I had to deal with what was real, with my feelings. I had to deal with all of them. He from the past, all of that. All of that. I had to deal with everything. And I mean, I'm sure he's still not done because I had a lot of baggage to unpack. And God, especially during COVID, that's when that's when Let's Dig Deep came about. It's when he was really, I was in isolation, stuck with the kids. And I was just like, and God was just dealing with me. I was fasting and praying, just trying to seek him. Like, what do I need to do? Can't do my photography. Photography is a service. I have to be in front of people to do it. What do you have me to do? Because, they closed everything down. And that's when he started just delivering me from everything. And I was just like, oh, everything I thought that, oh, I'm over it. Oh, that didn't mean nothing. It did. That's why I'm every time I feel something, I'm not going to say I don't feel that. I'm going to be real with myself. Okay, I'm upset so I can have some self-control. Like I told the kids today in my Beyond the Cover Academy at the Boys and Girls Club, I told them we need to learn self-discipline. Oh, what if it don't matter? When you know God, he said vengeance is his, saith the Lord. So when you start seeing how he deal with them, that's what he did with the people in Egypt that he was delivering from Egypt. He dealt with the enemies. Why are you so focused on your enemies? He got them. That's a distraction. He got them. Long as I don't jump in and try to defend myself, I'm gonna get the win. Period. I mean, it's been happening. I mean, that's why I don't even touch it. I don't want no parts in getting whooped by my father, by God. I've been tapped. He didn't make me that big. I feel every lick. So I don't have that to do. So I'd rather for you to get in trouble and not me. And and I even brought it down to their reality, like, when we are being disobedient and we want to come to our parents after we handled it. And we wonder why we in trouble too. How are you gonna tell me that your brother or your sister hit you, but you punched them back before you even told me? Why not tell me so I can handle it? But now I gotta get on both of y'all. Because you didn't have no self-control either. That was making me mad. But that's why you were supposed to tell me, not after you handled it. You want to get your lick in and then, no, it don't work like that. Now you in trouble too. So that's what God is saying. Since you wanted to act the fool, you wanted to put it in your own hands because you didn't have the faith or trust that I was going to handle it right. So they made you that mad that you wanted to get your little lick in. Now you in trouble too. Now I'm going to have to deal with you and then I'm going to deal with them. And I ain't trying to be, I'd rather for him to go straight to you. I ain't got that to do. So we must have trust and faith in God. It goes hand in hand. That's all part of it. You can't even please him without faith. And faith is real. Like this is literally beyond your sight. Like it's not what you see. I don't, it's easy to have faith. Oh yeah, I know my car note is gonna be paid because you know you have money in the bank. But what about the times when you don't have money, when your money looking funny? What about God moving you all the way far away from everybody you know on a low credit score? And the credit was high before it just dropped all of a sudden when God told you to make this move. What happens then? What happens then? You still got that faith. And he telling you to go. They denied you and you like, oh well, I guess I can't go. Then all of a sudden you have been approved. Oh, and you know for a fact that there's no possible way that because even their thing states, you really didn't qualify by their standards. But God, when he commands something, like he commanded the universe, God will command things to happen for your favor, just for your obedience, just for you having the trust and faith in him. He rewards you. Clearly, they didn't want to. They did not. They did what their policy said. But God said, no, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no. I told my daughter that she was gonna get it, so she gonna get it, and that's exactly what happened. And he didn't give me no rinky dink brand new, all things new, and he gave me all things new back in December too. Like he gave me the vision. I was like, oh, but I didn't know all the ins and outs. So that's what faith is all about. So on today, I hope that helped you clearly say that we have to trust and obey. You see why I say trust and obey? The Almighty, and we must do what He say. Literally in our actions. In our actions. We can't even satisfy Him without we putting faith in action. It says faith in action. Hebrews, the 11th chapter, read all of it, not some of it, not part of it, not a little bit of it. All of it. So you can get the whole picture. You don't want people to see this part of your story. You want them to know all the stuff that led up to this. So that's the same thing with the Bible. You don't want to read parts of it because you ain't gonna understand how this happened, how it got to this part or whatever. You need to read all of it. So you can get the whole picture so you can understand. We come into relationships just getting parts of it and we're like, oh well, how is this happening now? No, because we ain't go beyond the cover. We looked at the cover and was like, okay. That's how they looking, but we don't. So go beyond the cover, dig deep, go a little bit deeper than you normally do. Look inside you. I had to look inside myself. And know that God is not going to tell you what you want to hear. So that tickle in your ear telling you that ain't God. He's going to tell you what is real and what you really need to do and what you're not going to do. So don't get the two confused. I don't want you to get confused. Because we want to hear what we want to hear. And that's not how God is. He don't operate like that. What he said is a sin. What he said he's going to do, he's going to do. If he said he's going to wear you out, he's going to wear you out. Period. Just like we tell our children. I told you not to do that. You did it anyway. I already told you what I was going to do. Why are you looking confused? Oh, why is this happening to me? You acting like you confused now, like you can just, be disobedient and nothing is supposed to happen. That doesn't even happen in the real world. So, we love our kids. That's why we discipline them. I didn't understand that as a child. I was like, oh, why are you whooping me? If you love me, you shouldn't be whooping me. This hurts, But, that did get me in line because I didn't want to feel that anymore. So I'm like, no, let me not go, have my cover out of place or whatever. Let me make sure everything is done so I can go have fun. So that's all God is wanting to say on today. We must pray and obey the Almighty. We must do it Yahweh. And get rid of the sage. And quit worshiping other gods in our action. Quit putting people before God. Oh, well, I gotta stay with him. I gotta stay with her because they the ones that pay my bill. And oh, well, if that's how you feel, you don't want to deal with the real. You want to smoke it out and drink it out. That ain't helping you with reality. Just tap into reality. It's not gonna go away. You digging yourself in a deeper hole because you don't have self-control. You don't want to deal. No, nobody want to deal. Don't want to deal with the bills. Want to deal. I don't want to even look at my account after I pay that amount for the building. Right? Who wants to do that? Who wants to look at, the account drop like that? I don't want to see that, but I have to be at a realization that this is all I have left. And I even had to talk to my children. Just because you see this amount, this not mine. This belongs to the house. Therefore, I don't touch this money. Self-control. Because God is not going to trust you with nothing. I'm not going to trust my kids with nothing if they can't show me, if they just spending money on nothing. Every time they get money, they spend it on candy. And well, I'm just going to give you a little bit. But if you actually spend your money on what's important first, then I might trust you with a little bit more. That's all God is trying to do. So have a little bit more faith. Just the faith of a mustard seed. That's all. He's not even asking for much. I mean, he's going to give you more abundantly. He just got to be able to trust you. My son, he doesn't understand. He wants people to say nice things while he does the opposite. He's disobedient. You can say that I'm not going to tell you to be obedient in a nicer way. Do what I tell you to do. You want to do all these things? Well, do what I ask you to do. It only makes sense. It's just common sense. It's not even hard rocket science. It's not hard to get. It's, you don't clean up, get to go outside or do whatever, just get my mess up, take my plate. This was automatic stuff that we did as a kid. I don't understand this stuff. They cannot just do common sense stuff sometimes. So that's what God is saying with us. Why can't you just be obedient? You're making up all these excuses of why you can and can't. We tell our children to sit down. I tell my son to sit down. He gotta walk around and do everything else outside of what I do, and then look confused, like, oh, what was I supposed to do? Just for attention. We get God's attention, and then what? Then mad, wonder why he mad at us. We're getting his attention for the wrong reasons. We ain't doing what he said. We ain't having no trust in him. We listening to them, going to everybody but him. But we want positive attention while we do negative. It's not how God works. I'm gonna keep doing negative. I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do, but I want you to be positive when you talk to me. Then when he put you in open exposure, then you looking confused. Oh, why you show everybody me? Oh, because you don't want to see you, so I'm gonna let everybody else see you. You need all this attention. So have trust and faith in God. Take off that fake facade. Like I told my son, you can either be good or not. It's not an act. You can't act like you're good. You can actually be good in real life, especially when you have Christ inside of you. Because you don't want to do the old things that you used to do when he's in you. So trust in him. He's not them. Even when it don't look right or like it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You just have to trust and believe so you can receive. Have a blessed day.